Hey everybody, Dr. Kevin again here. Welcome to day 15 of our 30 days of spine rehab series, where over the course of 30 days, I hope to show you how to create a full body, comprehensive back and spine rehabilitation program from complete scratch, and what I believe are the safest, simplest, and most effective ways possible. So the first 14 days, we've obviously introduced a lot of material from mobility exercises to core strengthening exercises to hip stretches and whatnot. And I know there's a lot of information there, but just want to let you know from today for the next 7 to 8 days or so, we're not going to be going over or introducing any real new material. Instead, we're just going to just kind of gel a lot of some of these concepts together and just to give you more different instructions and programs to work within. So the next several days or the next 7 or 8 days or so, again, these are examples of actual programs that I would deliver to my patients with the expectation that this is how exactly I would want them to do their home exercise program at home as it relates to a very specific problem or topic that they may have. So for instance, if I think that the person needs to do a lot of work on their glutes and on their hips, this is what we would do for glutes and hip day. If I believe that their main issue is posture and stiffness in their upper back, then I would give them a program specifically designed to help address posture problems and stiffness in the upper back. So, so day 15 is going to be the start of some of those programs. And again, these are just actual programs, actual instructions that I give to a lot of my patients, so that you can just kind of plug and play and do them on your own. So the topic for day 15 is going to be centered around glute activation. So we've introduced a concept of glute activation in previous days. Again, I think that's just weak, inhibited, just sleepy glute muscles are at the core of what's happening for a lot of patients who are struggling with chronic back pain and don't know why. Just because of the simple fact that they're just sitting on their hips all day long, which creates a lot of tightness in their hip flexors, and which then creates a ton of compensation and a lot of unnecessary load and effort on their back muscles, especially when they start to stand for long periods of time after they've been sitting for long periods of time. So these glute exercises are a way to, one, be able to open up some of the tightness of the hip flexors, and two, start to reactivate and reconnect your brain to those glute muscles so that they just start to work much better over the course of the day, so that your lower back does not have to hold up to or overcompensate for the work that the glute muscles are not. So we're going to go over the 3 best exercises to help turn on and reactivate and just strengthen your glute muscles to, again, teach you how to take pressure off of your back. So let's get right into the first exercise, which is a review of the hip flexor stretch. All right, let's get into the first exercise for day 15, which is going to be another round of hip flexor stretches or hip flexor openers. I think that this is a very important foundation exercise for anybody that is going to be doing, or anybody that is serious about spine rehabilitation, because we just find these hip flexors to be such a huge problem. And if we can start to open up these hip flexors, it really opens the door for these glute muscles to start to activate. Because a lot of times we see people that have weak glutes or just difficult time engaging glutes is because their hip flexors are so tight that is inhibiting their body's ability to actually activate their glutes, thus creating pressure on their back. But we're actually able to open up those hip flexors, we're able to engage those glute muscles, and it just opens the door for a much more effective and efficient way of strengthening these glute muscles. So just to recap, or if this is the first time you're seeing this program, start kneeling on one knee and make sure that your back is staying completely flat and that your pelvis and your hips are staying as level as possible. Try to tighten up your abs just to ensure that your back is not arching. Once you squeeze this glute, you should feel a huge stretch and a huge pull in the front of your hip flexor. And from there, take a nice deep breath in, squeeze, breathe out, and push forward. Hold it there for a couple of seconds. Take another deep breath in, exhale, and just push a little further. You don't want to go too far because you want to make sure your back isn't arching. Try to keep your hips level, keep your abs tight, and keep your glutes tight. Let's do 3 more rounds. Breathe in. Exhale. It's going a little further. It's 3. 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale. And one more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Really feel that hip flexor opening now by the last repetition. So let's get into the other side. Right leg up, left leg down. Tuck my pelvis in. Back stays flat. Abs stay tight. Try to maintain good posture. Squeeze the left glute. Should feel a nice pull in front of this hip flexor here. Deep breath in. Exhale. And just push and drive forward into the stretch. We'll do 5 breath cycles. Deep breath in. Exhale. Just push into the stretch. Hold it here for a couple seconds. Just give your muscles a chance to just adapt and just kind of settle into the stretch. When you're ready, take another deep breath in. Exhale. Push into the stretch. Again, not going for a ton of motion here, just really trying to feel an elongation and an opening of the muscle right here in the front of my left hip. Twice more. Deep breath in. Exhale. Drive forward into the stretch. Back stays straight. Core stays tight. Glute stays on. Last one. Breathe in. Breathe out. And push into the stretch. Okay, so I would recommend practicing that stretch just one more round on each side, and then get right into the second exercise, which is going to be a reintroduction to the glute bridge. So let's get right into it. Okay, so for the second exercise, we'll get right into doing some glute bridges. Right, so have you start by laying on your back. And again, just to go over the finer points in terms of form or technique, we want to make sure that before we start to lift our hips in the air, that we want to make sure we're not arching through our back, because our goal is to learn how to not rely upon our back muscles, but instead really start to activate our glute muscles. So in order to make sure that you're not overarching your back, just simply flatten your spine into the mat by engaging your abdominal muscles here. And when your abdominal muscles are on, that will help ensure that you're not going to overuse those back muscles. And from here, just dig into your heels to just activate your hamstrings and glutes a little bit easier, and just lift your hips up in the air as high as you can, making sure that your back is not arching. And at the top, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back down nice and slow. Okay, we'll practice that a couple more times. So let's start by flattening our back into the floor. Make sure our abdominal muscles are engaged. Let's dig our heels and let's lift our glutes up in the air. And at the top of the lift, try to squeeze those glutes as tight as you can, while also just engaging those abdominal muscles as tight as you can, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back down. All right, we're going to go for a set of 5. Again, flatten the spine, lift the hips, squeeze the glutes, tighten the abs, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back down. If you start to feel your hamstrings cramping, or if you feel your abs start shaking, that's okay. Just reset, and just try to just stay within your limit. So flatten the back. We'll do 2 more. Lift the hips, squeeze the glutes, crunch the abs, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down. Rest for a couple seconds and repeat one more time. Flatten the back, dig the heels, lift the hips, crunch the abs, and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back down. Okay, so that's it for the glute bridges. I would recommend to try to do at least 2 more sets of those. And at the start, just try to hold for 5 seconds times 5 repetitions. And as you get at this, as you get a little bit better at it, try to aim for a 10-second hold over time. So that's it for the glute bridge exercise. So let's get right into the next hip strengthening drill. Okay, so for the last exercise today, we're going to be revisiting a version of the bird dog exercise that really focuses and isolates the glutes and hip activation. So let's get right into it. So we'll have you start on your hands and your knees like so. And our goal is to try to slide and lift your leg as far back and up as you can while making sure your back is staying completely flat and completely straight the whole time. Okay, so again, the goal of all of this is to teach you how to activate your glute muscles here without activating your back muscles. Because one of the most common problems that we see for people with chronic back tightness and chronic back problems is the fact that they tend to over-rely upon their back muscles because their glute muscles are just so weak. So our goal with these exercises is to teach you how to activate your glute muscles without your back muscles, just to help your brain just start to undo and start to reverse a lot of those muscle imbalances that have developed in ways that you may not be aware of. So let's get right into the exercise. So again, I'm going to slide my right leg back as far as I can, and I'm going to lift my foot as high as I can while making sure that my abdominal muscles stay tight and my back is not arching at all, like so, okay? You start to feel your back arching, you start to feel your back bending, then just simply lower the leg back down to a point where you can feel your back is nice and straight without it obviously bending or arching, okay? And from here, try to squeeze that glute as tight as you can while keeping your abs tight, and then try to just push your heel up as high as you can towards ceiling while just making sure that that back isn't moving. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then lower the leg, pull it back in nice and slow. So let's just demonstrate a couple of times on each leg. So let's do the left leg again. Slide the foot back, core stays tight. Now start to lift, squeeze that glute, lift the heel as high as you can without letting your back move and without letting your back arch. Also make sure your hips are staying level. So if you're rotating your hips over, then that's no good as well. So just try to keep your hips as level as you can. 4, 3, 2, 1, and back down. So we're gonna practice it a couple more times on each side. We'll aim for 4 repetitions on each side. So let's slide the right leg back, lift up the leg, back stays straight, core stays tight. Breathe, 4, 3, 2, 1, back down. Aiming for about a 5-second hold there. Let's go back to the left leg. Slide it back, kick it up. Core stays tight, back stays straight, hips stay level. 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. And 2 more on each leg. Slide the right leg back. Heel to the ceiling. Back stays straight, core stays tight. Activate that glute, squeeze. 4, 3, 2, 1, back down. Let's go back to the left. Harder than it looks, guys, harder than it looks. Really tough to keep that core tight and keep that back from moving. 4, 3, 2, 1, with the left, back down. One more time, each leg. Slide the right leg back, starting to get a little winded here. And guys, this is harder than it looks. Harder than it looks. Squeeze that glute, back stays straight, core stays tight. 4, 3, 2, 1, back down. One more time on the left. Slide the foot back, lift the leg in the air, core tight, back straight. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back down. So that is it for our glute activation series. Again, starting with just opening up those hip flexors just to make some space and some room to start to activate those glutes, glute bridges, and just leg extensions in a bird dog position are, I believe, the easiest and most accessible ways to start to reverse a lot of the problems that we see with sitting that's causing a lot of lower back pain because of glute inhibition. So Hope you did well for today, day 15, and I hope to see you again for day 16, where we'll be going over more exercises to help you just have a healthier spine and just have a more confidence with your body in general. So that's it for today. Have a wonderful day and hope to see you again soon. Take care.